Check this out. That's Americans on the other side. That's how close we are to America right now. What's going on, everyone? Today we're on a special hike. This is the hike I've been doing since I was a teenager. We've been doing this non-stop. I love coming down here. We are hiking from up here down to the bottom there. We're at Niagara Glen. Come along for an amazing journey. Now this hike's pretty cool because you're going to be going all the way down to an underwater waterfalls all the way down there. What I mean is the water's so strong it goes firing over top of where it should fall down, and the hydrodynamic force just carries the river along. It's a very narrow spot, probably the most narrow between America, which you see right there, and Canada, which you see right here. Over there, that's the American Power Dam. Now we're going to head down these crazy stairs. So check this out. This is many flights that you have to walk down to start the hike, and also many flights you have to walk back up to end the hike. I'll count them and tell you below because I've never counted them. All right, that was 5 flights of stairs actually, so it wasn't that bad. All the trails here are marked by these trail indicators. We're not going to do an exact trail today. I think we're going to be going on our main highlight trail. Quite honestly, the spring and the fall are the best times to hike here for visibility and stuff.
Remember, however far you go down, you got to hike back up again. So if you get tired, turn around before it's too late.
Now you have to be pretty careful when you're hiking down here because look at all the rocks. It's pretty treacherous on the ankles if you make a mistake, and it's really hard to get back up once you fall.
Niagara Glen is a Carolinian forest remnant. It's a rare ecosystem in Canada. Most of its species are more common in the southern US.
Now what's crazy is they don't really know who built this. I mean, okay, they're going to say Niagara Parks built it or some people built it. There's no historical photos of these trails being dug out. There's no real information about it. I have a personal feeling this is actually a work of First Nations a long time ago as hunting trails. Perhaps even early explorers used this because waterways are generally highways, so before Portage Road, perhaps this was the Portage Road.
Evidence from archaeology shows that the Neutral tribe had been here for 13,000 years.
This reminds me of one of those rock formations from New Brunswick. Could you imagine, look at, we're all the way up here now. At some point, the water was here, smashing into the side of this, carving it on this angle. It's wild.
13,000 years ago, people arrived on this land. It was frozen, cold, and icy. As things started to melt, 12,000 years ago, Niagara Falls was born, near Brock Monument.
Now along the way, you have some pretty cool lookouts. This being one of them. Obviously, you have to be really careful climbing up it, and don't go off the other side. We'll show you what that looks like in a minute.
Many of the boulders you're climbing on over here are glacial erratics. Those are giant rocks that are dumped here by melting glaciers.
Now we started up there. We're heading down to there. We're currently on this rock. Now we climbed up on that side. This side we'll show you in a second what's over there. Trust me, it's crazy. But look at this. It's all water worn. That's right, all of this was once underwater as Niagara Falls smashed its way through this particular spot. All of this, completely underwater. Check out what we were just standing on. Ready for it? Ready for it? Yeah, that's right. That little thing we're on up there with that little grass, this is the other side of it. Hey, go stand beside that thing for a height.
Some of these rocks are over 1 billion years old. Other ones weigh hundreds of tons. All carried along by glaciers in the last melting ice age when they reached the top of the clouds.
Now what's interesting is down here there's plants everywhere, right? It's actually really humid. There's a lot of biodiversity. So it can get quite sweaty. Today's not a hot day, it's only 24 degrees, but the humidity down here, it's hot. It's like 80. Now check this out, guys. What is this? What is that? These are potholes. These are carved out from millions of years of rocks smashing around. Thousands and thousands of rotations, spinning a little pebble in a circle till it creates this spherical design. Now this one, I wonder where the other side is, right? Clearly it was going this way. It's probably lying around here somewhere, but now check out the cool one. Check this one out. Look how smooth that is. It's smooth like marble. You can actually climb up all the way inside it.
Most of these potholes were formed at around the 12,000 year mark when Niagara Falls was created. At that time, there was giant glacial lakes that were melting, and the flow that came through the Niagara River was much stronger than it was today. The area is home to rare ferns, wildflowers, and ancient eastern white cedars clinging to the cliffs. Some of these are over 1,000 years old, which make them the oldest in North America. You'll spot turkey vultures cycling the gorge as they rise from the thermal air currents and the warm river below. The area is home to many varieties of birds, chipmunks, and even during migration season, you'll see the monarch butterfly. At the top of the gorge is the Niagara Escarpment, which formed around 450 million years ago. Much like a river carving its way through the path of least resistance, this glen was created through a series of cracks and fissures in the limestone slabs. These slabs and joints would freeze and move together over thousands of years, breaking apart to create the glen that you see today.
Now check this out, guys. We've got another pothole here. This one's a smaller one, but it goes all the way up and through too. And if you climb on top of this rock, you can actually look down it. Here's some of the trail markings and the white stuff. What is the white stuff? Well, a lot of people down here do bouldering. And what they do is they put mats down here so they don't crush their skulls and their backs. And these are all different routes. There's a bunch of books that you can buy that have all the different routes. And if you can see there, we're getting closer to the water.
Some sections are steeper than others. Most have stairs made out of rock, but some don't, and they use the roots as steps on the way down. Be careful not to get your feet stuck, of course. Another interesting feature is the different types of sediment you see between the limestone and the shale rocks.
Alright, here we are. We're getting closer to the end of the water. This is where I hiked basically my whole teenagehood. We spent so much time down here, I can't wait to show it to you. Now where we're going right now is extremely dangerous, death dangerous. So I've only been doing this like my entire life, and that's not saying like, oh, I know what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. It's saying I'm respectful for the area and I don't do crazy things, all right? I don't step on plants down here. I don't write my name on the walls. Coming down here is a respectful journey for your own safety and to keep the area what it is.
In the Glen, there's over 4 kilometers of rugged paths. They feel a lot longer because they zigzag around, and mostly it's all steps. The staircases you see on the trails have been around since the 1900s.
Can't quite see it, but if the water level allows us, we're gonna get down onto these rocks and chill. But you never know, you have to go by the water and by safety.
The flat pieces of rock that you see here were once the very top of the waterfalls, and as the waterfalls carved and collapsed the glen on the way through, they became angular pieces on the bottom.
Now check this out, right here. This is an underwater waterfall that's so narrow that the hydrodynamic force of the whole Niagara River cannot drop. So instead of a couple hundred feet drop right now, it just goes flying on over. That's why you see the whirlpool jet boat here. It is a crazy experience and a crazy amount of force. And if you go in this water, even here, I consider you drowned. I consider you dead. You do not touch this water. The sketchiest part of the hike, hopping on these rocks over to this to go to there. Again, the name of the game is you never, ever, ever go in that water. This is the same as hiking on the edge of a cliff. If you respect that and just pretend that water is a 4,000 foot drop, you're good to go. He's using thousands of horsepower of engine power to keep that thing in motion right now. Right now he's explaining to him about the underwater waterfall, the power of the force. Look at how fast that water is going by him.
When you stand at the water's edge, you're basically beside the strongest currents anywhere on the continent, and that's because the river, rapids, and the Niagara Glen have the highest flow rate anywhere in North America. The jet boats first came to the Niagara River in the 1990s as a throwing way to get through the rapids. They use a shallow draft, high-powered boat designed to navigate the rapids.
Now the sketchy part is look at where the water is raising. You never have your feet on wet spots. So he's on the dry spot. We've been studying it. Water's not going to raise there right now. He gets both hands across, foot up. Always 3 points of contact, nothing sketchy. You take your time. Now on to the cool spot. We made, look at this guy. We made it. So my favorite spot in Niagara Glen. Again, if you don't know what you're doing, if you're a tourist, if you've just come down here, you see this, do not come over this area. This is mega dangerous. It's dangerous all along here.
Jet boats can go from 0 to 50 in seconds and spin 360 on the rapids, basically turning the rapids into a giant amusement park. Think about a jet ski that you see in the water, but a large version of those. These tours are amazing because they let people go to an area they don't normally get to see, meanwhile learning a lot about the history and geology of the area.
Check this out, that's Americans on the other side. That's how close we are to America right now. Let's see if I can get another with us. Woo! Woo! Yeah, forget what you hear about on the politics and stuff. The country's politics aren't people. People are chill. And we always sit here and harass the Americans. Back when I was like 20 or so, we'd sit here and we'd have beers and be like, yo, screw you guys! And they'd be like, woo! It was chill. Now this one is enclosed, so you can do cool like videos and photos in this one and you don't get wet.
Each tour lasts between 45 and 60 minutes, and it goes through these rapids you see in front of us, as well as the whirlpool that's up ahead. I highly recommend you checking out my whirlpool hiking videos as well. You can take these tours from the American side or the Canadian side, and they run about $66 American or $76 Canadian. There's separate prices for children, elderly, as well as a separate cost if you want to be inside the observation boat. This area is still geologically active. In the springtime, certain rocks are in different spots than years previous. What's really cool though is looking out all the flat areas to find fossils from the ancient seabed of Lake Iroquois.
For about 20 years, this rock has been hanging here on the side ready to go down. Every time I come, like, I wonder if it's gonna go, but it's always in the same spot. But the gravel always looks fresh below it.
I was saying before, this is truly a paradise for people who want to do bouldering or rock climbing because of all of the large rocks from the glacier erratics. There's even books you can find online, and each of these rocks have names and skill levels.
Now this is an interesting one. Looks like the trail, but we do have the blue markers telling us where to go. And even me, being here my whole life, I still get lost if I don't follow those markers.
Tourists have been coming down to the bottom of the gorge since the 1800s. But recently, Park Services in 1990 have upgraded the trails, marking them and replacing rope and wooden bridges with metal staircases and keeping the upkeep of some of the rocks in the area.
Here are two more potholes. Let's see all the way down. These ones are more like nature's toilets. And why is that? Because I could basically sit in it like a toilet. I'm not going to though. I kind of want to. Now check that out. Water worn. Water worn. That's why when people say like, oh, around the Sphinx it looks like it's water worn, I'm like, yeah, actually it looks like the bottom of the gorge, which is interesting enough. Now back to this cobblestone road. This thing is interesting because it goes all the way down to the bottom. It might even be the original pathway.
This area was originally inhabited by the Neutral tribe, who used it for fishing and all kinds of ceremonial purposes. Later on, loggers came down here to collect massive trees that they used for infrastructure projects around the Niagara region. Although many of the trails are marked by Parks Services, there are also multiple markings by community members over the years, allowing lost members to get up. A lot of the trails have been curated by Park Services, but there are many more that are curated by hikers to create new access points to this amazing area. I feel we should never close off the trails and should always be allowed to expand and explore this area, as there are many unique discoveries to be found, such as the cave on the right-hand side I just passed. In over 30 years, I have never seen that cave before.
Rumor has it, if you want to find the heads carved in the rocks, you take this ancient, dilapidated trail that's no longer used, head that way when the leaves are down. Maybe you'll find it. Maybe you'll find the remnants of it carved off. I found a couple on Niagara Escarpment. Can you? Now once you finish the hike on all the elevation and ascent and descent, you get back to this trail where you walk back to the stairs. This is the trail. It's pretty flat. It's probably only about like 100 meters, if that. That's the 5 floors up to the top. Most of the rock along this side has been curated so it doesn't really tumble off on you. You don't have much to worry about. So that's it. That is the Niagara Glen. That is one of my most favorite spots to hike in all of Ontario, actually. I love being down there. Thanks for coming for the adventure. If you come here, feel free to bring a picnic and enjoy.